Good morning. It's Carl here, and we're going to be asking a very important question. And the question is, do you read a book more than once? All right, so I'm learning a lot about rereading books. And there was this famous quote, I cannot remember who it was by, but they said, judge a person not by the book that they read, but judge them by how many times they reread a book. And trust me, I butchered that quote so bad, but it's along those lines. So, this is what's going on. There's a book called The Miracle Morning. Whether you've read it or not is besides the fact. The point I'm trying to come across is I read the book one time, and it's so easy to read books and think that you know it all. You think you know what the book is about, and I am so guilty of this, and that's what I want to emphasize on, is because when you're reading books, especially audio books or any physical book or whatever the case may be. I think another book that I read was Think and Grow Rich, and I read it. This is probably my fifth time reading that book, and I still am pulling out bits and pieces and nuggets of the core content, and that's why it is so important to never judge a book by its cover, for one. Two, to also read the book the best the best you can one time, and then the second time, maybe you'll read it a month later, you go through it again and again and again. You just keep rereading the book from start to finish, and that's where the value is. You've got to understand what you're reading, and it's so easy. I've been guilty of not having an open mind for the longest time. That rhymes. And it's important because as you're opening your mind to reading, you're starting to understand where the person is truly coming from and the message that they're trying to send to you. So for me, I think it's funny because when I woke up this morning, right, 4 a.m., I said, Carl, you're going to wake up at 4 a.m. and you're going to tackle the day and you're going to make this morning your you-know-what. And so I woke up 4 a.m., 4:10 goes by, 4:20 goes by. I'm still sitting in bed, and I was thinking about one of the books I had in my library, and it was The Miracle Morning. And for some reason, the marketing gimmick, made me realize that I need to capture the morning. And so I thought, okay, I'll give this a try. So I turned the Audible book on while I was still in bed, and I looked towards the. I didn't look too far into it. I just remembered how it is all about taking charge of the morning. So I started playing it, and it gave me inspiration to get up out of bed, and it reminded me of how important it is to get out of bed and to face the day. Lately, the reason why I'm getting up so early, and I'm a Marine, so I'm a former Marine, and I'm used to getting up early, right? And I think what's important is when nobody tells you what to do is where you really shine and where the life pays off. It's those moments when nobody's looking. And so when I was sitting there, I used to wake up, and I'm still a habit I'm forming, but I want to say that I used to wake up right before I had to go to work, 7:30, right? And so I'd wake up at 6:45, just 45 minutes earlier, and then I would work out in the evenings. So I really didn't have much time for myself in the morning like I do now. I mean, I still have another hour of time for myself, and I think it's really important to take care of that morning and make it yours, because that's your special place. And I know some of you have kids, and you have, maybe you're living with another person or a family, and so you don't always have that time. Well, I have my own place to myself, so I can wander around, and I have this room that I have rooms that I can walk around, and I can make as much noise as I want. But I have created this lifestyle for me. I may be getting off a little point here. The point I'm trying to make is that you got to seize the morning. And there's a famous person called Jocko. I think his last name is Williams. I'm not sure, but he is a Navy SEAL. And the more I think about it, the more I realize that it is important to wake up early and to not be struggling to just get to work. You have 45 minutes, and I was to get to work, and I was packing my lunch. In that 45 minutes, I was taking a shower in that 45 minutes, and I wasn't going to the gym. And so now I'm realizing how important it is to wake up early. And if there's anything I want in my life, it's to wake up early. I just wish I could keep it up. Right now it's 4 a.m. that I'm waking up, but eventually who knows? Maybe I'll find that I need even more time in the morning. So you're probably asking yourself, what time do you go to bed, Carl? Well, now I'm thinking 7 p.m. 7 p.m. is the time where I can get my full 9 hours of sleep because I love to sleep and I need to be rested. Sometimes I toss and turn. And then what I do before I go to bed, and this is something new I'm working on, is I am reading the Bible. And some people may be very skeptical about the Bible, as am I right now. I'm still learning. But so check it out. There's some things I won't say over a podcast because I'm still a little shy about some of the personal addictions that I have. Maybe in some of my earlier episodes, you know a little bit more about what I'm talking about. But it's something I'm working on. And so as I'm going to sleep at night, or excuse me, right before, so I get home from work and I need to wind down. That's so important to wind down, especially with my phone and technology. It's hard for me to wind down. So I put my phone on Do Not Disturb as I'm approaching sleep, as I'm approaching bedtime. I go and I sit on my bed and I I open my Bible, okay? I open my Bible and there's something about the scripture, right? That's supposed to be the word of God. And there's so many different historical religious scriptures like the Quran. There's so many different ones. There's even I read the other day, there's an Egyptian Book of Dead. There's like some crazy other similar type of religious Bibles, so to speak. And and so I'm sitting here in bed, and what really just puts me to sleep more than anything else is reading the Bible. And I used to listen to a lot of Jim Rohn, a lot of motivational stuff and a lot of audiobooks to put me to sleep. And what I found is the best thing to do is to have a physical book in your hand and read the Bible through an audible thing as well, a companion. So I'm listening to the Bible while I'm reading the Bible, and I follow along, and I put my timer on for 30 minutes or 45 minutes so that I can eventually pass out and without losing my place. And so I follow along with my bookmark and I read. And what it did for me last night is it helped me out a lot, and it's not putting the wrong material in my head. There's something about the Bible, and just from what I've read, I think I'm on Leviticus now, and I've never read the Bible all the way through, and so it's really helping me out as far as getting the right kind of stuff in my head before I go to bed, because I used to look at videos of things that would get me excited, and that never worked for me. So it's all about doing things differently. If you want different results, you got to do things differently. And we'll do an episode on that another time. So here I am. I feel great, and I'm going to look back on this podcast episode many years later, and I'm going to think, wow, that was a good habit. And so going to bed early, 7 p.m., waking up at 4 a.m., what's that, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah, that's 9 hours. I think that's perfect. And so another question that I had is, if I'm waking up at 4 a.m., some people have different job structures. Some people wake up at different times and they have to work overtime or whatever. But here's my answer to that. If you want the world to conform to you, you have to be disciplined. If you say, all right, this is how it's going to be. I'm going to wake up at 4 a.m. I'm going to go to bed at 7 a.m. Eventually, you're going to get out of the job that has you working overtime or showing up on different hours, and you're going to start setting your own schedule. And this is a belief I have, that the world will conform to you. The world tends to get out of the way when people have a definite purpose. And that's a little quote I got from Jim Rohn and Napoleon Hill and just a lot of other people that I look up to. And so here we are. I'm really thankful to be here today. Right after this episode, I'm going to write. I have this crazy new system that I'm doing where I don't write goals necessarily anymore. Instead, I write what I want to experience, how I want to grow, and how I want to contribute to the world. And that's just one system that I use. And I write about 10 things per column. And then I have this other one. It's just one spiral notebook, but lots of different systems of things that I want to accomplish. There's another one that I found last night. I'm creating another system where it's basically, what is it? So commitment. And I've committed my whole life, and just not to women. I've messed up a lot. And something I'm truly working on is being more committed and honest and everything. So one of this cool little system I'm creating right now is called commitment. That's the first column. The second one is test, right? Because you always be tested in life when you commit to something, right? If you're going to commit to a diet, you're always going to be tested. People are always going to put things in your face that they're like, oh, just because they don't have a commitment to that, they're going to be. Life is always a test. And then the third column, check this out. I put faith. The word faith. The word faith to me goes right along the lines of being tested and being committed in similar order. So commitment, test, faith. And I was thinking, man, if I could just start writing some of the things that come to mind when I think about that stuff, then I'm going to be in a really good position to commit a little bit more to some of the things I fancy in life. And here we are. Again, I'm so thankful. I'm focusing, in other news, I'm focusing on LinkedIn right now. I paid their premium membership, and I'm taking courses and building my certificates there. And I'm starting to write articles there, and I'm networking. I'm starting to have a different network. Networking is important, but you also got to become something in the process. You have to be, if you want to see a change in the world, you got to be that change. And so here I am networking with people who are go-getters on LinkedIn. I'm about to create a business card, a new professional business card, and on that card I'm going to have my LinkedIn profile. I'm going to say that I'm a speaker and a podcaster because I want to be a corporate trainer, right? Every day I want to be something different. And then I'm going to have my link to my iTunes podcast and maybe my Instagram. And so there I am, just kind of supporting what I do. And I'm trying to design my life the way that I want to design it. And that's where I feel true fulfillment is going to come from. I've been following this new person called John Maxwell. Maxwell is a leadership coach, supposedly the expert in leadership, just like Brian Tracy is the expert in goal setting. And so I'm following people. I read that book yesterday. It's called Today Matters by John Maxwell. I read that book in one day. It wasn't very long, but it just kind of reminded me of the importance of how life is short. And one day we are going to be old and whatnot, good or bad. And we're going to look back on our life, and you just want to make sure that you are fulfilled by the friendships. You want to make sure that you're taking care of today, seizing today. And giving is the best part about life, being able to give. You in your early life, he says you learn, right? You learn as much as you can, and then in your 30s you make as much money as you can, and then when you're later in life, you start giving back more of the money that you made. So there's things you can learn from people who have been there and done it before, and I feel the more that you learn from other people, the better your life is going to be. And that's why I read books, and you have to grow. So you gotta be learning and stuff like that. You never want to stop growing. And I'm really thankful to be here today. I really am. I know that I'm talking to some of you, and I'm seeing it in the real world, and I'm truly gracious. I want to be the best that I can be, and I'm not going to be here forever, but I do want to. The biggest regret that I would have is if I didn't push myself to be the best that I can be. I didn't come from a family. I did come from a family. I'm trying to say, the family that I came from wasn't. It wasn't where it was hard growing up, and I had some structure, but for the most part I had to figure a lot of things out on my own, and I kind of get emotional about it because I have come a long way with the military and college, and I love my family. I do. I can't be around them. I have to grow. And I have to create a new family. And I have to love myself and forgive my family and forgive anybody who I feel has ever done me wrong. And I have to forgive myself. And I got to keep pushing. I got to make the difference. I got to be the change, like we said, in the world. And I know I'm capable of a lot. I can think really big. And I can believe in myself. And I use God as the fuel I need someone to talk to when all the women don't want to hang out with me and people don't want to be friends with me or whatever. I turn to God. That's what I do. And I pray, and I make sure that I have myself taken care of first, and then the right people will come into my life. So you can see I've grown so much from having drug problems to different addictions, drinking and everything. And so I'm here now. I don't drink, I don't smoke, and I'm just so thankful to be here today. And my way of giving back in life is through this podcast. I'm gonna do the best I can to keep this thing just pumping value. And obviously, if you're anything like me, when you hear the word value, you think, okay, what does this guy want? And it's true. I do want money. That's why I have the donate link in the description, and it's a company called Donately where you can donate to me, and if that's what you want, that's why it's a donate button. I'm not asking to subscribe to any courses or anything like that. I'm done with that. This is all give first, and then if you want to donate, you can. So I'm not going to press for anything, but it would help me pay off debt. It would help me pay for maybe a master's degree at UNLV. It would help me pay for a self-driving car someday. But, forget about that. The link's in the description. This is what I want. This is what I want. This is how I'm going to give back to those who are just trying to, they're on their way to work. Either you're on your way to work or, maybe you have the day off and you're just kicking butt, or maybe today isn't such a good day, and maybe I can be that light for you. And so that's what I'm here to do. I have my own life as well. I don't need the money. I have my own career and stuff like that. This is all about me giving back to you, and I do love you, whoever you are. I genuinely love people, and this is my way of giving back to you. So in conclusion, reread books. Keep reading books and then reread them. If you find that you're being skeptical about a book, stop, reread it. Keep rereading the book. You're going to get more, and you're going to feel proud too because you reread the book. All right, I would love to stay and chat, but I do have to get to work, and I got to plan my day and whatnot. And guys, thank you so much for listening. I want you to rock on. Don't ever stop believing in yourself. If you're tired and you feel like you don't have it anymore in you, don't quit. Never quit until you have something greater lined up in your life. Thank you so much. Have an awesome Friday. Stay cool. Carl out.